Hi, my name is Martin Hale from IT Masters and Charles Sturt University. During this brief info session, we're going to have a look at the Master of Mobile Applications Development from Charles Sturt University. Let's have a look at the mobile app job market before we have a look at the Masters. This is from a recent report from the Australian app about the Australian app economy from the Progressive Policy Institute 2014 report. And quite amazing to see that even though this area didn't even exist a decade ago, we're now up to close to 10% of all IT jobs are now in the app development field. Absolutely amazing growth, 139,000 positions in Australia, and we've actually, for once, leading the USA in this area. We've got a higher percentage of people working in app development in Australia than the USA or UK. Massive growth, and they're predicting even more growth for the future. Let's have a look at the Master of Mobile Application Development. The major aims from the Masters are firstly for students to develop a portfolio of apps from all the major platforms and cross-platform packages. The idea is that you would finish the Masters, that you would have this portfolio of these apps to demonstrate to people, to show that not only can you develop an app, but you can develop the app for the major platforms using the major underlying platforms. And a final subject which is around research and development, and during that subject, or as part of that subject, you've got the option to develop an app you can commercialize. You don't have to, you can just develop an app. Maybe it's something to do with the company you're working at, but if you've got something that you want to commercialize, or you hope to commercialize, that subject would you can actually do it while you're doing the subject. Course structure of the Masters, and all the Masters for that matter, is 12 subjects. We don't have semesters, we call them sessions because there's 3 of them per year, and you do 2 subjects per session. So the recommended duration for people who are studying part-time, which everyone doing this is, they're all people that are working during the day and they're studying for this at night, would be 2 years. If you're hoping to move into apps development as a career, though, you don't have to wait until the end of the Masters. It's designed for you to develop apps all the way through, so you would have them to put on your resume and to show to prospective employers. Let's have a look at the actual structure of the Master of Mobile Applications Development. 7 core subjects, 9, and 3 electives. A couple of general subjects which are in all of them, ethics, for instance, and then you've got a programming in C# for people that don't have a background in that, and then there's subjects on the different platforms like iOS, Android, and a couple of the major cross-platform app development platforms, which I'll have a look at. The one highlighted there we're going to have a look at in more detail. Also have a look at things like mobile data architecture. I mean, it's all very well to develop an app, but a lot of the work these days is, well, where is the data coming from? How is it getting into the app, and how is it updating back into databases, for instance, and things like how secure is the data. So that's a critical subject. And then you pick from a pool of electives. We try to make the electives as much as possible potentially useful. For instance, things like agile project management would be a handy thing to have if you're in app development, because if it's a small project, you'll have to project management yourself probably if you're doing your own, or you'll definitely be working with project managers, so handy to understand how they work. And of course things like marketing are going to be pretty critical if you're developing your own app. I said we'd have a look at one of the subjects in a bit more detail. We won't look at them all, we'd be here all night, so we'll have a look at just the one, ITE 528. So one of the 12 subjects, it's a core subject. And this one looks at cross-platform app development, and it uses application developed using PhoneGap, a famous cross-platform. Some of the biggest apps in the App Store developed using PhoneGap, and you'd actually build the app, as you'll see in the assessment in a minute, and you actually then deploy it across the various platforms. So you can obviously build in a native language, iOS, for instance, for the Apple platform, or you can build using cross-platform. You'll do all of that during this Masters. Let's have a look at the assessment. It really demonstrates how applied this Masters is. A lot of degrees at unis are about theory. This has got some theory in it, don't get me wrong, but it is very definitely about applying the theory to show that you can actually do. And you'll see it in the assessment here. Well, the early assessment even is you develop a PhoneGap application, so you get right into development, and you develop a pretty simple app to start off with, just a to-do list, a pretty prescriptive thing, but it's definitely a working app. That's just getting you ready for the major app development. But before you launch into that, what you should do, and always should do, is you develop a business proposal around what you're aiming to do and what you're aiming to achieve with it. So that's the proposal, 25%, an assignment, and there is no exam, as there is in a lot of these subjects, just not appropriate. The major assessment here is build an app, and a significant app, and you also then assessed on how well designed it is. Does it scale? Is it secure? Is the code reusable? Can it be maintained by someone else? All of this critical information if you're going to be a professional in this field. When can you start if you're interested in doing it? 3 intakes a year. So I'll leave it there with a nice short presentation in this day of YouTubes. If you've got any questions, email IT Masters, or if you're really old-fashioned, you can actually pick up a telephone and call us. Got some lovely people there who will talk to you. You can call the university direct, but IT Masters is there to help you. University is fantastic as well, but it's a big organisation, so we're smaller and we partner with the university to develop and maintain and promote these programs. So feel free to call us and we'll help you out with all your questions. There's no such thing as a silly question. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you for listening, and good luck with whatever you end up doing in the future.